And we're back.
And we're back. With the weather. No, I'm kidding.
God. It's hot as shit.
Today
That's
it'll
the
be
weather.
very,
It is
very
hot
hot with a
as
low
shit.
chance. Today it'll be very, very hot with a low chance of rain because you're in a fucking desert.
Yeah. Anyway, we really
Anyway.
need to get Vondal to scry on that guy.
So. Yeah, you walk out into the cafe. What do you do?
Well, presumably it's kind of rude to scry in a cafe.
Presumably, yes.
It would certainly get you a lot of odd looks.
Especially given that it takes 10 minutes to cast. So I'd be sat
So
at a
it seems
table
we need to
staring
find
at a
somewhere
crystal
little bit
ball
more
for 10 minutes.
Private.
Yeah, we should probably go back to our room.
It's gonna take you like 40 minutes to get there.
Ah,
Oh, Jesus. So we need somewhere private. Is there a bathroom? No, I'm kidding.
How about this? Like, if we want to, like, since we want to do it very quick, we could just go to the nearest. Oh, we are in a little bit of an higher class area, but we could go to the nearest hotel or whatever inn and just buy a room for it, like just
Hashtag a
enough.
nooner.
Yeah, just a nooner. It's fine.
I don't think you know what that means.
Nope, but it's fine.
Just
Look, I
live
have
in
an
ignorance.
idea. I have an idea.
I don't even want anyone to explain.
So what are you doing?
My head.
is there a place we can get a room quickly?
Sorry, say that again?
Is there a place where we can get a room quickly? Or is there a place where I can make us all a wall of stone hut?
Not really a place where you can make a wall of stone hut, but you could probably find a place to get some quiet for a few moments.
Well, how about for 10 minutes? At minimum.
You could take a very long bathroom break.
10
Hug the
for-
toilet.
That's a very
For
long
10 plus minutes. I don't think so.
He's really got some bowel issues, guys.
Oh.
Right.
Look, I know I'm old, but still.
But yes, we'll just try and get like I guess just a room at the nearest place. For
Yeah.
it.
Well, if you only want one room for a short period of time, they will happily just like rent you a room for the afternoon.
Okay, good, let's do that very quickly.
Okay.
That's not going to be weird renting a room to 5 people for an afternoon.
Give me a persuasion check, someone.
Hello? I'll do it.
Okay.
What's your
Oh,
persuasion?
shit me.
You without like arousing too much suspicion, you walk into a hotel. You sort of say, "Hi, we're looking to. It's a bit short notice, but we're looking to rent a room for the afternoon." And they're sort of like, "Oh, okay. I think we have somewhere to spare." And you're like, "Great. It doesn't really matter what size. We'll take it." And they're sort of like, "Well, okay then. That'll be 2 gold."
Okay, cool, I'll pay it.
Okay. They show you to a room.
We should probably not go there with all 5 of us.
No, we should.
It's not a sleeping room. It's just a rented
okay.
space.
Oh, that way. Okay,
Yeah.
that is less weird.
Also, who cares about whether someone thinks it's weird? Look, we have stuff to do.
Well, you all pile into this room. There's basically a like a large table and chairs in there. Like it's a room that would happily sit 10 people for a meal. So
Cool.
Nice.
That's a room.
That's a room together. Anyway, let's do it.
Scrying!
Let's get
He
down.
can't see me. He can't see me, but V is doing finger guns at Vondal.
okay,
God.
cast a spell. Who are you casting it on?
A person who I guess went off into the residential area with our
With a
corrupt
diet.
foreign councillor man.
Okay. I need to bring up the thing for scrying. I need to know what save he needs to make.
Wisdom. Wisdom save.
Yeah, but I need to know what modifiers you get. Okay, so you...
We haven't really
Well, I
met
guess
him.
it'd
You
be-
haven't
I guess
really
it'd be
met
second-hand.
him.
Yeah, it'd be second-hand.
It is,
plus 5.
yeah, it's second-hand knowledge,
That's
and
plus
your
5.
connection is a likeness or picture. So,
Which is -2.
okay, so he gets a +3 to this. What is your spell save DC?
A whopping 16.
16. Okay.
Oh, great.
Hey, it could be worse.
It
Okay.
could be worse. You're right. It could be my spell DC, which is like shit all.
Exactly.
But you also don't really need one, so.
No, I really don't.
So, you cast the spell, and you are granted vision of whoever this counselor is.
Shit.
He is reclining on basically a very expensive looking sofa. Adira is nowhere to be seen. The man seems to
Not
be
great.
simply reading a book.
Damn it.
Is it a good book?
Well, it has a duration of up to 10 minutes, so we can try and
Yep.
wait.
You can sit there for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. You sustain the spell for 10 minutes. The man does nothing interesting.
Ah. Fuck.
God damn.
We thought we were in.
Well, we have an in, but potentially.
I mean, simultaneously, this means that we can listen in on council meetings whenever we want, if we know there's one.
You can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
When we were researching the council, did we figure out how often they meet?
I don't know,
Um,
dude.
And if it wasn't mentioned at the time, would we have found that out?
And
Uh,
actually,
sorry, carry on.
no, I was just gonna say, I guess we didn't need that guy because we just could have scryed on the place.
Well, except you haven't seen the inside of the council hall.
No, that's true.
Or the residential quarter. But anyway, I didn't tell you how often they meet. It's generally like twice a week, though it's not always on the same days.
Lovely.
Yeah, and especially considering how recently the notes were so bad or basically non-existent of the meetings.
Yeah.
It'll be hard to actually figure out when.
Unfortunate.
Is there a way we could keep tabs on someone's position for an elongated period of time?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
What about the locate person spell?
There's a range.
Yeah, they have a limited range.
Yeah, but the range is very
The
large.
range is
big range.
1,000 feet. So he says the
Yeah.
direction of a creature's location as long as that creature is within 1,000 feet of you. If the creature is moving, you know the direction of its movement. The spell can
So-
locate a specific creature known to you or the nearest creature of a specific kind.
I guess.
But I don't think we can get it to just identify council member. I suppose we can actually, because we've seen them.
Well, I
Well,
don't know if
you guys
it's.
have, yeah.
I don't know if this is good enough as known to count as known.
How about we ask? How about we ask the god of gods, aka the dungeon master, if that would work?
Well, what is your
Okay.
question?
If we've just seen them, is that enough so that we can specifically locate them with locate creature?
Yes, because you only need to have them described to you to be able to cast it, I believe.
Yeah.
Boom.
So we could.
You'd need to
use that
stand like
position-
outside of the walls, but
I mean, We've done weirder things, I think.
You have done weirder things.
We have definitely
Like-
done weirder things than that.
Like 1,000 feet is like decent, so we could like just check that way if they're having a meeting, and if they have a meeting, we can quickly rent a room and have a peek.
And just hope something interesting is said in the 10 minutes we're listening in.
That is the risk we're gonna have to take.
Yeah.
Though, what I will say is we probably have to kill a bit more time than just the 20 minutes we've been in this room to avoid it looking too suspicious.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I guess we don't want. I'm actually thinking about it. We've already discussed like way too much sensitive material in such a in a room we haven't really checked. We should probably have done that in advance.
I'm sure it's fine.
Oh, might as well double check. Just gonna check if there's any like holes to peek through, or anything.
Sure, roll me an investigation check. It is unlikely anybody is listening to you in this random rented hotel room that you didn't even know was here until you came here.
Look, you never know. You
Good
might
thing
as
to
well.
check.
It is a good thing to check.
Well, a question is, does Grim still have fucking Zudar's journal on him, or is that
He
back
does.
in the room? Oh, that's good.
Uh,
Well, I
I
presume
do
it's in the
that
bag of
too.
holding.
Yes, I just keep.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. We
there you
don't
go
want to
then.
keep
Yeah, why
stuff.
would we ever keep anything in our hotel room?
Yeah.
You've got a point.
that's a
Oh,
good
that's a question. Where is the Syrah?
point.
What is it with us and forgetting about companions?
I mean, I'd assume she'd come. Oh God, I guess she was with us. Yeah, because I would.
No,
Yeah,
it-
I wouldn't be leaving her alone.
This year it's
unless
had
Zero had some
coffee.
coffee.
completely-
If she's with you, then
Yeah.
she's with you.
Yeah, she's with
Zero
us.
had some
is-
coffee with us. It was
Okay.
great.
This year
Yep.
coffee. That's great.
Then subtract a
The
silver
Syrah
for
and
her
coffee,
drink as well.
Not terrible at all.
Guys,
Mm.
when I make a second fucking bingo card, we forget about our companions. It's definitely a square.
It's definitely on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely a square.
So, what are you doing?
Well, I guess that isn't the worst idea. Like looking into Zudar's notes some more whilst you have time to kill anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we do kind of have to stay here a little bit longer because just staying here for 20 minutes is possibly suspicious.
Okay.
That's a little suspicious.
I feel like that person, whoever's at the desk, is not gonna ask questions, but
No, I feel like they won't give a shit.
Hmm.
I mean, you
But we
you
have
you
the
paid
money,
them
right?
for like an hour. If you leave early, they're like, oh, have fun, I guess.
Yeah, we can at least kill
Well, I
the
guess we
last
can
40
stay in
minutes.
this room for an hour.
We've got something to do. It's not like we're standing around making small talk.
And like twiddling our thumbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We literally
Oh,
just said there's still
running
something we can
away.
do, so we might as well.
Yeah, you can.
all right, read the book.
Yeah, you can get the book out, spread the pages around, because it's not a full bound
bound.
book. So you can
yeah.
you can take the pages out and like hand them around.
Split it into like fucking 6 chapters.
Okay. Yeah, you can.
We can all examine a bit.
I won't make you all roll investigation checks because otherwise this will just get massively messy.
Just get Grim to do it with help.
Somebody roll an investigation check with help.
Oh,
Well,
Go on,
Oh,
Grim.
no.
Okay.
a whopping
Oh.
12.
Grim, no.
Okay.
Oh shit.
well, considering it was a 5, it could be worse.
There is so much to go through here, and like so much of it is like technical terminology that you're going to like have to like learn to be able to like fully understand a lot of what is said. The thing of interest that you do note in the book is actually something that jumps out to V.
Oh.
In which Zuda has basically he has fairly early on in his notes copied a page from a Rafiki text that talks about basically like the mission that he was on, the maintaining of the cycle of life and death. And he has gone, like, he's copied this, like, significant portions of this text into his notes. It clearly was some significance to him and was fairly important to him. There is one specific paragraph, though, that Zudar has highlighted and goes on to talk about in great depth. The depth of which you don't quite have the time to fully evaluate. But the text is as follows. The mortal soul is part of the raw fabric of creation. Created from essence and gifted to the races of the material plane, it is unknowable and incomprehensible. Is life created on the whim of the gods, or is it merely the next reincarnation of that which has continued without interference since the dawn of time? It is beyond the understanding of even the wisest of our order. But this much is known, the mortal soul is powerful, the most valuable currency of devils, and a source of power by gods and demons alike. Its value cannot be understated. It's clear this meant something to Zudar, which makes a lot of sense considering this was his mission.
Perhaps then that's what he decided to figure out. Specifics on the mortal soul.
The nature of the soul. Perhaps. It is a theory that has interested many.
Interesting.
But yes, as for the rest of your searching, it turns up nothing that you can determine particular immediate interest.
Alright.
So,
I guess we could sort of leave the whole Adiah thing for now and investigate some of the UNT business that we know about. Because we know that there's messengers on the market district on the last day of every week at midday.
Yes.
you do.
So we could try to either intercept those or follow them, or I
Um,
feel like
uh,
personally I feel like we're kind of stuck on the whole Adiah thing for now.
Yeah. Well, I think like we're gonna have to take more risks now, or we have to like it's either gonna be grind or risky.
Well, my point is that if some things are connected, then it might be best to sort of follow some other leads, and if maybe we find something that helps us with this investigation, that would also be useful.
That is true.
There's no guarantee that it will do that, but
Well, like this, following the guys is also something. Is a time thing. So when, like, what time would it be? Like, is it tomorrow, today?
It's probably like midweek now.
So we could definitely prepare some stuff in that regard.
yeah.
I guess that is a good question. Do we want to follow as many couriers as possible, or are we gonna just try and catch one, or like
I feel
follow
like we need.
one?
I feel like we want to. I feel like we want to follow where the messages go.
Because the thing is, like, one of these locations probably took out Sudar whilst he had help, so they might be dangerous.
Yeah.
Right.
But I guess we could just agree to observe instead of taking action.
Well, the thing is, even if
For
they
the time
talked, because wait, Does it say that the code phrases are written down or are they spoken?
The code words are spoken, but the messages are written down.
Okay.
Yeah. So to give you like sort of a visual perspective of how this pans out, basically, two agents sit on a bench. One of them talks to the other one replies. They exchange a piece of paper, and then they walk away from each other.
Okay. So my idea is that if it's in Abyssal, then if Arya can tell me what those phrases sound like, then I can try to see and read people's lips to see if they say that sentence.
The sentences are not said in
That work?
Abyssal.
Yeah.
Speaking Abyssal in the middle of a city would be suspicious as fuck.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair.
Okay.
So they say it in common.
They
but
say it in
the
common, but the messages on the
written.
paper is written in Abyssal.
That
Because
makes
Okay,
that is
well,
a very
then-
good code.
We skip that step and we just
Go straight to the lip reading.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can I
So
say
if
that
we,
with,
if we just want to
yeah.
shadow them and not actually take that much action, it's probably a good idea to leave the 3 heavy armor lots to not be trying to follow them stealthily.
Yeah.
So it should really be a Iron V move out, V identifies them, Arya follows.
Well, how about this? Me and Arya will try and be stealthy, have a look out for them, and then
I suppose
when
we'll
we follow
linger
them,
about.
and to make sure that we are okay, you guys can cast Locate Creature on me or Arya to see where we're going. So you can follow from a safe
Probably a
distance
good
and still know where we are.
Yeah.
That is an excellent idea.
That would work.
That
And
would
you
work
can just
quite
make
well.
noise if you're discovered so that we know to run to help.
Well, can't V cast message?
Yes.
Or is that too
But
far?
it does have a range of, I think, 100 feet or something like
Yeah.
that?
She also has to
Oh.
know where you are.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Fair
the only
point.
issue.
Well, if it all goes bad, you can just thunderstep, and we will know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Within 300 meters, you will know.
Yeah.
Or you can also cast Ascending. Either way, there's plenty of ways to contact us and to know where we are. So you might
Of
want to do this in
course.
2 different groups.
I think that is a good plan.
Okay.
But yeah, we will follow from quite a distance, just to be safe.
That seems like a good idea to me.
Are we just going to time skip until the end of the week?
I think there's some.
Depends on. Yeah.
Was
Like,
there
do
any-
Well,
we-
Do you
we
want to
want
do
to
anything
do-
else in the meantime? Because otherwise you're just sitting around for like 3 days.
Do we want to do the grindy thing of locate to see if we can catch out a council meeting?
I mean, I could easily do that in the meantime because I have plenty of casts for it. I can cast it 3 times a day in theory.
Damn.
Yeah, and I can also cast Locate Creature once. Wait, maybe more
Well,
than once.
You need to
Yeah, I think you
actually-
can cast it a couple of times because of the
Just kidding.
number of charges it costs.
Well,
Yeah.
then we can also maybe, again, sort of do a bit of everything at once. And we know that there might be an entrance to the catacombs that Grelestro is in, so maybe we investigate that for a bit in the meanwhile. If there's an entrance to the
Uh.
catacombs from the archives, then maybe we can try and
Oh.
confirm
that.
whether that's true or not for now.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna take a scene, don't you think? Like or like the asking and stuff.
I mean, yeah, I think there's definitely a scene there.
Yeah, but I think that's okay, right? Like, I'm
Yeah.
just.
Oh yeah, that
sort
is
of
actually it is
in
fine. it's
character,
fine.
this is a good thing to spend our
Oh,
time
yes.
on while
So
we
yeah,
Yeah.
for the
let's
Yeah.
go to the catacombs
Yep,
as
yep,
well
yep.
as the out of scene sort of tracking meetings.
The question is, do you want to do anything else while you're in the archives? Because if I remember correctly, there was other stuff you wanted to look for.
Oh, what was it again?
Shit, was there? Fuck.
I think it was specifically related to your aims, V.
Oh. Well, I think I looked up stuff about the Raven Queen already, right? Or was there anything else that I wanted? Or things about plane shift and stuff? I feel like I've already done that.
Oh, yeah, no, I think you did. Yeah, no, I think I'm just misremembering.
Yeah.
Unless
Well-
I'm misremembering something that I wanted to do and now no longer remember.
Well, we'll find
No,
out.
I think you're right. Like, it's just that we can combine the two into one scene.
Yep,
That's
okay.
all.
Well, I guess like if we end up having spare time there, I might look up the black cigarette. Not that I assume that Sudar hasn't tried, but anything might help.
No, yeah, you could definitely go there and research that. Two of you could go together. So, what scenes do we think are here between now and the end of the week? Does anybody want to have any conversations? Because I know Arya was looking to have conversations with people last session.
I just wanted to ask Grim about his banner.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think you can definitely. There's a scene you can have there, the two of you.
Chilling in the archives when suddenly.
So we could definitely.
Or in the hotel or anything.
Or wherever, yeah.
Somewhere.
So yeah. I think we that kind of depends on when we want to do that. Like, do you want to do like at the end of this day, or like do you?
Doesn't really matter to me.
I think the end of today is the right time.
Okay. Do we have anything else to do today? I don't think so, right?
I can think of.
Well,
Okay. Well, as you leave this hotel, can all of you make me a perception check?
Do I have advantage?
No, you do not.
Damn it!
Damn.
Always worth the ask.
Yeah, it's always worth
Okay.
asking.
that
So-
way Vi's got this.
Thank you.
Kelariis and V, as you are walking back towards the Eye of Bahala from the Palace District, you can hear somewhere in the distance somebody is yelling. It sounds like a sort of like it's like a sort of like town crier, sort of like repeatedly like saying the same thing over and over again, or a same series of things over and over again. And something that the town crier is yelling catches your attention, just like briefly for a moment. And that is a town crier who occasionally repeats the following words. Let me find it. Council to fund second term on hospital despite calls for gross incompetence.
Is someone writing that down in the document?
Oh, shit.
Yeah, hold on, wait.
So council calls for.
Council
Second
to
term.
fund second term for hospital despite calls, despite cries of gross incompetence.
Okay. Actually, I should put that in the council part.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Look,
Not quite sure what to make of it
Yeah.
yet.
It's worth noting, this is the first you've heard of anything like this. And you've been in the city for a couple of days. Like, this seems like it might be big news, but
Should we maybe ask about it? Like, ask around about what they're talking, or what this is about?
I mean, presumably the town crier would know more.
Well, yeah. But I mean,
So you could just ask them.
I don't think the town crier is going to know more about this, but it's definitely worth keeping in mind.
Well, honestly, I don't see how it's related yet, but we'll maybe if we come across something else.
Well, I feel like this is more proof of the council just doing shit that you know,
doing whatever it wants.
like it might be a council, or that might be a hospital owned by some guy who's really rich or important or whatever, and it's still being funded despite the fact that it's not a good hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
people,
that is that is not what we are. Well, even though the corruption is bad, it's not what we are after right now. At least not that kind of corruption. I think we have to. I think we have to try and keep our investigations a little bit focused in that regard. But we'll keep it in mind.
It might be good to at least find out about the hospital, though, because it might be potentially related to something bigger.
Yeah.
Or to a person that might get us somewhere.
Well, can't hurt.
So I think asking about it isn't going to be, like, the worst idea.
So do you want to go and find the source of this yelling?
Might as well.
Alright.
Sure. Okay. So you do your best to follow the source of this noise until basically just a couple of streets away. You come across basically what is it looks like somebody's taken the wheels off a like a horse-drawn carriage. And basically taken bits off it and rearranged bits to turn it into almost like a small enclosed stall. And standing on a box yelling is a young man who looks as far as you can tell to be local, who is repeating this over and over again. And inside the box is another man who looks like a slightly older but very similar to the man who is stood on the box yelling, who is holding a series of pieces of parchment with like it basically is handing out like a bunch of leaflets that are like 1-page bits of parchment.
Presumably the parchment has the information we're looking for.
Might as well look.
Yeah, like, and as you walk up, the older lad in the caravan thing looks up at you and sort of says, "All right, here for a copy of the Herald."
Yes, that would be very appreciated.
2 copper pieces.
Cool. I give him 2 copper pieces.
Okay. He hands you a piece of paper. Anyone else want one?
Go on then.
Thank you very much.
This guy's extorting us.
Maybe we only need 1 newspaper to read. But okay.
Yeah, but I want to be nice. This is
Why?
his job.
Who cares? We got a job to do and no one's paying us shit for it.
No, we just take our own payment from the bad guys we murder.
Oh,
Why
you
would
want
you
to be
say
nice.
it like that? They're nice people.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Are you having this conversation in front of the newspaper salesman?
No. No.
I imagine it totally happened, but sure.
Look, if I'm,
This poor
if I'm gonna
guy.
give, look, I'll give 10 days ration to people who need it. I'll give 2 copper pieces to people who are just trying to do their job, right?
So as you look at
It's
these
common man.
pieces of parchment, they're quite clearly handwritten, and whoever is doing this is quite clearly sort of enterprising, because they've taken a piece of paper and they've written as much stuff on it as possible. To the point where, like, at some points you have to squint to read some of the text. And it basically seems to be it's a list of everything that is going wrong in the city.
Wow.
That's useful.
Like,
Wow.
I say that like very simplistically. it's basically like there aren't really newspapers in this world, at least not that you've experienced. There tend to be like messengers and like there's like town criers and stuff, but these people have quite clearly just sort of tried to create their very own, for want of a better term, newspaper. Except it's clearly a very, very cynical and very critical look at the city. But yeah, basically you see all sorts of reports of like the resistance causing all sorts of nuisances, people holding demonstrations, and then as you like sort of flip the piece of paper over, a large portion of the back of the piece of paper is devoted to talking about this hospital. And from what you can tell, basically the local, or the largest medical facility that could best be called a hospital in this city, is a privately run institution. But very recently it's been receiving a number of significant donations from the council in order to deal with sort of like injuries and incidents that have sort of been like, should these people really be paying for things that aren't their fault? Here, we'll give you some money. But
That's really suspicious.
a lot of people are complaining about this because apparently, according to some people who are dissatisfied with the way the hospital is being run, basically the doctors are completely incompetent. They prescribe expensive medicines for conditions that, when taken to another doctor, the another doctor says, "I have no idea why you would do that." And perhaps the biggest outrage is apparently they've been losing bodies from the mortuary.
Oh
What the
dear.
fuck?
And apparently this has been like all the hospitals saying, "Oh no, we're sure it's just cholera, nobody worry about it." But everybody is just like, "How do you lose bodies in a mortuary?"
I mean, it's happened before. We know it's happened in the fucking.
Well, that was actively stolen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
True. And also, that's concerning regardless of why it's happening.
Yes. But yes, that seems to be the bulk of the information that they could fit on the page.
I guess V's sort of just gonna look up from the whole newspaper thing and then just go, "Aren't you guys worried that the council is gonna come in and like arrest you or something?"
The kid sort of like looks up from the thing and sort of says, "Well, yeah, but that's kind of the point, isn't it?"
Do you want to be arrested?
Well, no, but if nobody says anything, how will anybody do anything about it?
I like these people.
It's like the
Going to
peaceful
work.
resistance.
Yeah. This is the kind of resistance Vondal approves of.
It's definitely not me inserting my own journalistic politics into things.
Oh no, totally not.
Nah, totally not at all.
No, I totally didn't see this coming the second
No.
you mentioned the town crier.
Oh.
Yeah, that's his response to you.
And where is this hospital? Do you know?
He sort of says, "Oh yeah, you can't miss it. It's basically 3 blocks that way."
Cool.
Nice.
Come again next week. We'll have more.
Like,
Still
what
here.
day? What day does your stock refresh? Well, we'll combine it. Never mind. I was gonna ask when they refresh, but
He just sort of like shrugs at you. Dunno. It'll be done when it's done.
Whenever they have information, yeah.
They don't have
That's
print
fair.
deadlines yet.
No. this is a very. I'm getting the sense this is a very grassroots
Yes.
campaign.
Mm.
It's
And
almost
they
as
don't
if
have
nobody's
healthy
done
robots.
newspapers before, and these kids have come up with the idea.
Mm.
Can't believe these kids have invented newspapers.
I'm so
Shit.
proud of them.
I can't believe Vondal's considering it. Like, considering going back the following week and going, you got a new one?
Vondal
Oh
is
my God.
totally
Vondal's
the
just,
kind of
like,
man who would read a
hungry
paper.
for
Vondal definitely
Yeah,
reads the newspaper.
Oh, absolutely.
In a modern setting,
would
he
love to,
wakes
like,
up
sit
and has
there.
his like jam and toast with a
Yeah.
newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Economist. Anyway. So, are you going in the direction of the hospital, or?
I don't like.
I mean, is it on the way to where we were going before, or would it be more out of the way?
Okay. before we
No,
go,
but it's not too far away.
Before we
Well,
go,
it's not too
I
far
think we
away.
should ask ourselves, what do we want to achieve by going there?
Well, finding out why bodies are going missing from the mortuary.
Well, we don't actually want to investigate that yet, though, do we? But I suppose it would just be more of a confirm we know exactly where it is and how to get there.
Also, like, because looking into that might draw attention again. It's like the fire.
Well, yeah, exactly. But we should at least know where it is so we can keep track of it.
Okay, sure. We can look at where the hospital is, but
So I think we might not necessarily want to investigate, but much like the fire, we should probably at least try and keep an eye on
Has the
what's
hospital
happening.
been added to the Google Doc? Hold on, let me go.
Yeah.
Oh, Oh, wait, no, she doesn't know that. Shit. Okay, no, never mind.
Damn it, the Sarah was gonna say something.
Tallithsyr was going to say something, but she doesn't actually know that because it was never mentioned.
Fuck.
No,
Fuck.
Sarah. Say it anyway.
She
It's
doesn't
what,
know it.
it's what Kelariis would do.
She doesn't know. It was never said.
Oh, I see.
Cries.
Alright,
Theora, you
guys.
could have helped us.
Let's just say that she met somebody who'd been to the hospital, but they didn't say that. So
Oh, I see.
Oh.
oh well.
anyway,
Guys, what were we gonna do with the rest of our day? If y'all wanna have a talk, have a talk. If we go to the archives,
yeah.
go to the archives, etc.
I think we have a talk and go to the archives tomorrow.
Yeah, something like that.
And I don't know how you want to do the whole us checking on the council thing. Do you?
I guess Vondal will, during the day at some point, break off, stand near the palace, and randomly cast Locate Creature.
Well, like tomorrow, I assume, because
it's locate
Yeah,
person,
tomorrow.
not locate creature. They're different spells.
No, it
I
is
believe.
called Locate
No, it
Creature.
is Locate
It is
Creature.
Locate
There is
Creature.
no Locate Person.
Oh, okay.
There's a Hold Person
Yes.
and a Hold
Well,
Monster.
yeah. There's also dominate.
There's also Dominate,
Yeah.
but there isn't a Locate Person.
Okay, that's fine.
At least I don't think there is.
Not as far as I can tell. Okay.
No,
So
there is not.
yeah. If you do it during the rest of the day. The first time you cast it, he is not even in the vicinity of the palace.
Cool.
Cool.
Cool, yo.
So it is unlikely that there is a meeting for the rest of the day.
Cool. Right, back home.
Well,
Okay.
Alright, shall we go to the archives then?
Well,
there's
before you
something
do the evening beforehand, circumstances leave Grim and Arya with time to have a private conversation. Where that is, you can decide.
well, let's say we were having a drink and like the others buggered off somewhere for some reason,
Fair enough.
or it can just be in the room. One of the two.
I mean, yeah, you can be sort of like winding down for the evening, and you can turn to him and be like, "Can we have a word?"
Yeah.
I guess that would make more sense.
Okay.
So, I had noticed. I've seen the banner before, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You found it on the floor when you hunted him, when you used Lyra to
Gotcha.
locate where he was in the city.
When you hunted him.
Well, because that's
I
functionally
hunted
what she
him.
did.
Yeah.
That is functionally what I did.
When she ranger tracked him.
Tracked,
Yes,
yeah, that's a better
tracked
term.
him.
Yeah.
Would
Yeah.
be a better term. Hunted, it implies that I'm going to kill him.
Which one day you
At the
probably
time, you nearly did, but
Which
Yeah, I was
at the
gonna
time
say.
I nearly did.
Yeah,
So that's
will.
fine.
One day you probably will.
But anyway, I have noticed that you carry around this banner with you. And you took a bit off and gave it to Zudar. I'm a little curious about what exactly it means to you.
It's more a memory than anything else. I think, like, in order to really understand why, I'm gonna have to go back a bit, I'd say.
We gotta go back.
It's back from when I served. So it's from a slightly less successful operation, one might say. Well, I guess depending on how much time you want, like, I don't know how much time you want to spend, I could either give you the long version or the short version.
I mean, you might as well give me the long version,
Sure.
since I'm asking.
Well,
Unless
then
you want
might
to give me
as
the short version.
then you might as well take a seat. And I pull out the bottle of liquor that I actually bought for us to, like, drink after with Sudar, but I kind of forgot about.
oh, I imagine you did drink to him when you had the ceremony.
Okay.
So there's probably like half of it left.
I'll just take a sip and then hand over the bottle. Well, it's kind of started when we were sent out to reclaim a village that had been overrun by what turned out to be the Dread Legion. At the time, we didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
As we sat outside, waiting for equipment to arrive. I was initially tasked with reconnaissance, and I could clearly see there was basically nothing in the village, so we could easily go run in, take it, no problem. But we were told to sit put because we were still waiting for extra reinforcements or something else to arrive. I can't quite remember.
Orders and reinforcements, I believe you were waiting for.
Yes, orders and reinforcements. But that night, something unusual happened. Because as it turned out, that village was not as empty as it seemed. Like in the time we'd been waiting there, they had resurrected a large part of the what used to be inhabitants or villagers who raided our camp at night, which didn't go too well for most of us. I managed to group up a few, get a small band together. We managed to hold them off and make it through the night. And basically, one of the things I managed to get off one of the bodies is this little piece of the banner. Was just enough to see what it was. And Zudar, even though he was slightly, he didn't have quite as much experience with it, I do know he did have massive problems with the Legion. So I decided to kind of give it to him as a token of, for him to keep on fighting, even though he's gone. The fight isn't over yet.
I see. That makes sense.
And so now I just carry it around as a memory more than anything else. And yeah, and it's probably why I am less comfortable with the dead or undead, so to speak.
Yeah, I
Just,
can see that.
I try not to make it too or like show it too much, but yeah, it's always there.
Yes,
But yeah.
well. The undead is a nasty group of demons, basically.
Eh. Sometimes I prefer demons over undead. At least you know where they're coming, or at least it's clear where they're coming from. The undead
True.
is just they seemingly come out of just magic, really. There's no real place for them. There's no actual home. They're just there.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like demons, at least they have their chaotic plane of what's it called? Do you believe the abyss? If I recall
Yeah.
correctly.
Yeah, demons are from the abyss, yes, and devils from the nine hells.
Yes. Like everything else in the world has a place, but the undead, they don't really seem to fit in anywhere.
Arya, you feel oddly the same about monstrosities.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I definitely understand where you're coming from.
Yep.
There are some things that just shouldn't exist in this world.
Yep. And so I can't deal with all undead, but at least I can deal with the Dread Legion, which apparently goes well. If it's right what Sudar says, they are ancient. I didn't realize how far back they went.
Hmm. Yeah, it seems like they have quite a history.
But I'm sure we'll figure things out. Show them the right way, or well, saying that I don't think they'll be seeing much of anything once I'm done with them. But you know.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for sharing. I'm sure that it's not an easy topic to speak about.
Well, it's the kind of thing you keep it to yourself, not so much for not talking about it, but more not to worry others. Because there's very little one can do, and yet there's very much one can worry about. But yeah. Yeah, have another sip.
Don't get wasted again. It went badly last time.
Oh, it did go badly. Yeah, Arya's definitely facing herself because she's like, fuck that noise.
Like, there's only half a bottle. How bad could it be?
Don't
3
say that.
hours later.
Yup.
Amazing.
Suddenly all our money's gone.
Nah, don't worry. Like even in drunkenness, he's still stingy. No, he isn't too stingy. Yes. Well,
Do you want to become the Spoon Lord again?
No. Please, God. Save me.
don't worry. It will be fine.
Maybe.
Okay. So, I presume you all go to sleep.
Presumably.
Okay. Yeah, you awaken the next morning well rested.
Woo.
And what is the plan? Who is doing what?
What is the plan?
I guess we still go to the archives.
Well, are you
Well, I guess we could also
all
go to the
going?
hospital. I guess we
'Cause-
could send a squad to the hospital and a few people to go to the archives if we want to speed things up.
Yeah.
I am definitely in archive squad because screw the hospital.
Yeah.
Well, you have intelligence as well, which helps.
Also.
I mean, I could go.
I'd
to
like the
hospital,
rest
I
of the
guess.
party.
Wow.
How about me and Grim go to
I mean-
go to the archives and y'all go to the.
I was gonna say Vondal will probably go like archives for a bit, and then around about midday detour to Palace to locate.
Yeah. It's gonna put
I mean, are you guys?
it's gonna put a
okay
lot of
with-
walking on your journey, but sure.
He has those long strider boots.
He does.
I do.
He does.
True.
Those boots
I
were
have
made for
I have
walking.
I do have a long stride. And Vondal's no
Can you believe
stranger
I gave
to
this to you in
walking
like
places.
session 3?
Right.
Vondal is no stranger to walking.
Let's go.
Cool. So you split into 2 teams.
Maybe do whatever Luka is doing first, because we'll soon.
Yeah, I
die.
gotta leave
Yes.
in like a half an hour.
Yeah, let's do team hospital first.
Team hospital.
Team hospital.
So
Y'all-
Yeah.
For some reason, the image of all of us dressed as Nurse Joy popped into my head.
No, please.
excellent.
A very
Why?
Fan art of
strange
that,
image.
please. Anybody who's listening.
God.
Oh my god.
2 Dragonborns in Nurse Joy.
Oh yeah, you're taking Tallithsyr as well. Okay, so what are you
Okay, yeah.
doing when you get to the hospital?
Good question.
God damn.
I mean, I guess we're just poking around. Like, the
Super
outside?
casual, like.
Yeah. I kind of want to find somebody who's, like, disgruntled leaving the hospital or something.
Yeah, you could see if there's anyone around like that.
Or like people in
Because I feel like
general
they
leaving.
would... Yeah.
I guess let's make that an insight check.
Oh, God.
I'm just getting terrible flashbacks to the last time you guys were in a hospital.
It's not great.
Wait, when was that?
When we did our World of Darkness superpowers one shot.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
That did not go well.
See,
Roll
I wouldn't call
20,
that a
please,
hospital.
for 1
Oh no,
second.
that was a
No,
hospital.
yeah,
Yeah.
we literally did go in. They literally did go in a hospital. And it
Yeah,
was
that was
chaos.
not great.
It was fine. It was honestly
You know
the
what's also
least
not
bad
great?
thing.
This roll.
Yeah, it's not the best.
It's not great.
Sure I don't have advantage?
No. Oh well, everyone in your group can roll it.
Sorry, no, my roll 20 had like had a moment,
Oh right, okay.
and it decided it did not want to do anything. Oh,
Okay.
wow, joy.
Do you want to roll for Tallithsyr as well, just in case?
Oh yes. Thank
Come
you.
on, Tallithsyr, you can save us.
Please.
Where is it? +0 to insight.
Oh
Yeah,
my
okay.
god, it's the same roll.
They rolled as
Oh.
well as you did.
Well, technically she rolled better. 'cause
Yeah,
that was
technically
just
she
a
rolled better,
flat
yeah.
12.
Yeah, she rolled a 12. Whereas
Okay.
Kelariis rolled a 7.
So Kelariis, you and Tallithsyr, you stand at the entrance to this hospital for a little while, sort of like watching people come and go. When basically, I guess the first thing you become aware of is basically you're being watched curiously by a basically like a young tiefling who is wearing sort of like a ragged I guess you'd call it a blazer over like a very sort of like thin vest. He can't be more than like 13 or 14, and he's sort of like he's hanging around the entrance in the same way that you guys are, and he like after a while he realizes that you guys are hanging around, and he starts like watching you quizzically.
I guess we are looking pretty suspicious.
I mean, when do we not look suspicious though, honestly?
That's true.
At least a little.
I mean, we are kind of suspicious with 2 dragonborns, one of them in plate mail.
Right, and one moon elf with a wolf.
Yeah.
With a fucking wolf in
We
the
are
desert.
such a group of people.
Yeah, definitely a group.
Oh man.
So do you do anything?
I don't know. I mean, I guess
I
we could go
mean-
talk to that kid, but
Yeah. I mean, that's probably our best bet, isn't it?
yeah, just see if he knows anything.
So you're just walking up to this kid.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't talk to strangers.
I know, right? Don't talk to
Stranger
strangers.
danger.
Yeah, as you approach, he sort of like he almost sort of like starts to shy away from you, and it's like almost as if he's not sure whether he should like leave. But you sort of you get within sort of like talking distance of him, and he doesn't run. What do you say?
I guess I just say hello.
Hi.
We wanted to know if you know of any strange occurrences happening at the hospital.
That's a fucking.
We've been. I know. I
Okay.
know. What else am I supposed to say? Come on, something better.
I know, it's fine. I'm sorry. I can't imagine this poor kid. Oh no.
Yeah, he sort of looks at you and says, I don't know about strange. It's a bit weird. I've been waiting for my brother.
How
To
long
come
has he
out?
been in there?
Well,
No, you're fine.
he went in there like, and he sort of like counts on his fingers. 4 days ago?
Oh my!
He was only supposed to be in there for a
What?
little bit.
What happened to him?
Well, he wasn't well.
Have you
See.
seen him at all since then? Or
Sort of
have-
shakes his head. Every time I go in there, they shoo me out.
Hmm. Are your parents around?
Sort of shakes his head.
Well, that's very suspicious.
Hmm. That's very suspicious.
Is that your dog? Like pointing at Wolf. Do you respond to that?
He's gonna fucking ask to pet her and lay around. I just shoot Lyra a look like play along.
What?
She's
What?
quite friendly.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
He sort of like walks up to Lyra and is just sort of like, "It's a big dog." Just sort of like puts his hand on Lyra's like mane and just sort of like starts like rubbing it.
Lyra is like super done.
Yeah, there's this focused look, like looking up at you, like, must I?
Look, we're trying to get information out of this kid. Just play along.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the hospital before? Or anybody else that you know?
He sort of like absent-mindedly shakes his head.
Hmm. Your name?
Sorry, say that again. You're breaking up.
What's your name?
And again.
Fuck. What's your name, kid?
Ah. My name is Leaf.
Steve, nice to meet you. I'm Arya.
Sort of like,
What?
No, I'm sorry. I had to
Come
write it.
at me with this.
No. It's not you. It's because I had a character and a thing I had to write for school. His name was Leaf. It's fine.
Oh.
I'm Kelariis, and I assume this year also introduces
Yeah.
herself. 'Cause she's good. She's civilized and nice and proper. That's not what I meant to say. It's fine.
yeah. Like, he like, looks up at you and he's just sort of like, hi.
Oh.
This kid is so cute. I kind of want to. I want to help him, but I don't know how the best way to help him would be. I have a plan, but it's risky.
Whoa, what is?
Oh my
boy.
god.
Oh
The
boy.
plan is to go in and commit ourselves to the hospital, or commit like one of us, and see what happens.
Why did we let the two chaotics go off on their own?
I mean,
I
the
don't
thing is that
know.
I also had this idea.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Did we not learn when we last let them to go together? They planned to break into someone's house. Did we not learn?
I mean,
I
well, the
mean,
thing
this is
that
potentially less stupid.
this is actually probably less stupid because we also both have means of escape.
Yeah, we can Misty step out if it gets too crazy.
Yeah, or like punch our way out if it comes to it.
Yeah.
Look, I can Misty step up to 5 times if I really need to. So I'm just saying.
Y'all do what you gotta do.
Look, maybe we just like go in, like, say Kelariis has had like a headache or something very generic, but it's like
Okay.
persisted for several days. Like not a normal headache. And see what happens. At the very least, you'll be back where the other patients are, presumably. So.
Yeah. Oh, why do I feel like this is a horrible idea for us
Oh,
to
it's
do this on our
definitely a
own?
terrible idea.
Oh god.
And we all are worried about leaving Fee to her own devices, and look at you two.
I mean, we are the
At this
chaotic.
point, I
super
trust
chaotic.
V. I trust V to do something on her own more than I trust you two to do something together.
Look, what?
Hey!
You got a better plan to figure out what the fuck is going on with this hospital?
We could also, okay, if we don't want to go straight to admitting one of us to the hospital, we could also go and say, hey, we have somebody sick at home, what should we do?
That's a good idea too.
That's also an option, and less immediately dangerous. I can't believe I just proposed it as a plan.
Damn. I mean, why don't we do that?
But it's a slightly better idea.
Well, see, I'm almost tempted to ask after this kid's brother.
I am also, well, I guess, I'll look at Leaf and say, have you tried to see your brother today already?
No, I just wait outside now because they don't let me in.
Well, if we walk in, would you like to come with us and try to ask?
He sort of like looks at you and says, "Okay."
This kid
Wait,
is too
stranger danger.
pure. Too pure!
I
Stranger
know, I want to
danger.
protect this child.
Why do we
mean, like-
adopt NPCs like instantly?
I feel like that kid's parents have made terrible choices when that kid is totally okay with trusting like this giant dragonborn and an elf, which he has never.
See, I don't know
Yeah.
if this kid has parents that are around.
Who the fuck is paying you the hospital bills otherwise?
I mean, we assume
I
that
don't
they're
know.
going.
Maybe that's exactly the problem.
Done.
No.
Done.
Well, guess who's
Done.
okay. Anyway, let's do that. Let's go in
Let's
with
do that.
this child.
Leave. Yeah.
Okay.
Look, this is less risky. This is super fine, okay?
I know
This
it's
is
less
not-
risky, but I thought we established on the way past the hospital the first time. We were like, nah, we'll be fine.
Yeah, but then there was a child involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So you walk into this hospital and it's significantly less busy than you might expect. But there's still like a lot of people sort of hanging around in this lobby. This isn't like a super huge building either, so it's sort of it's at most like a 2-story building. Yeah, but as you step inside, basically there are 2 guards sort of standing either side of the front door as you walk in, and there's like basically like a reception desk at the far side, and the guards sort of see the kid sort of coming in. They go to stop him, see you guys, and sort of is like, "Is he with you?"
Yes.
They sort of look disapprovingly at the kid for a second and say, "No trouble this time." And he sort of like nods. And they go back to what they're doing.
I feel like this kid has not made trouble.
Right, except for asking after his brother.
But yeah, no, you walk up to the desk.
We didn't ask his brother's name, did we?
No.
Well, I assumed that he was going to also, I don't know, speak there.
Right. I guess when we get up to the reception desk, I just say, "Hello,
Yes. So the moment you like address the man standing behind the desk, he turns around to you, sees you guys, and sort of there's like what's the word for it? Basically, he turns to you guys, and like is like he almost like jumps for a second, like he's startled as he turns around and sees you, and sort of says, "Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. How can I help?"
Hi. We would like to inquire about the status of one of your patients. He's been in here for 4 days and we haven't heard from him."
Right. I see. Do you have a name?
I look at the kid.
Um.
Have him say the name.
What is the kid's brother's name? That is a good question.
Your name,
I have
kid.
not-
What's your name?
Bark.
Please.
No, it is not.
Root.
Yeah, they have a sister called Root.
His name is Equality.
Oh, that's
Oh.
a very
Wow.
strange name.
Okay.
Well, they are
Tiefling virtue names.
they are Tiefling virtue names, which means
Okay.
they presumably they have like they don't want to be associated with the infernal ancestry, which is a thing that some Tieflings do.
Damn it, I was just about to probably miss that.
Wow.
God.
Oh no.
I was just about to do that.
Okay.
Oh.
God.
Fuck me.
Top quality content.
Oh.
Fuck off with your memes. Anyway,
No.
so he asks. He's the man at the desk is sort of like, right. Well, I don't know anyone admitted by that name myself. I don't really know the best way to go about this. No offense
Do you not have
intended.
records to
but-
check?
I do, but no offense intended. think it's safe to say you're probably not next of kin.
This,
Understatement there.
we are their guardians, and this little one is his brother, so he is next of kin. I just adopted a child.
Okay.
Okay, not only
As
did
you
you
do.
adopt this child, but you adopted a child for both of us.
I mean,
For the three of you.
do you want to give me a deception check to see how
Oh,
convincingly
Lord,
you say
this is
that?
going Terribly.
I believe
Come
in
on, natural 20, baby.
Just imagine Kelariis' look like.
No.
Okay.
This is going well.
Okay. He raises an eyebrow and sort of says,
Fuck you, buddy.
"I see."
he is under our protection.
Well,
he is under our
why?
protection.
look, this is far, far beyond my responsibilities.
What?
tell you what.
Looking for a patient?
Well, I can't give you any details on that patient, even if I were to find them, because technically we're not supposed to divulge any records.
Even to the next of kin, which this little one is?
Look, let's reach a compromise here. I will ask Dr. Merriler to come down and speak to you and tell you what she can. Does that sound acceptable?
I suppose.
And he signals to one of the guards from the doorway and says, "Would you mind awfully fetching Dr. Merriler?" And he's just like, "Okay." And he disappears. A few moments later, a very tall woman with long hair, like tied back into a very large bun, comes down the
no.
corridor towards you.
Man bun.
It's a woman.
Yeah, did
Oh,
you
it's
miss
a
the
woman.
part where he said
Yeah.
I
woman?
did miss the part
What?
where it was a woman.
Yes. Yeah, and she basically approaches you and sort of looks around, sees that you're the only people sort of like clearly waiting in the lobby, and sort of says, "Hello, I'm Dr. Merriler Tallithsyr. I assume this is about," and she indicates the little boy.
Yes, well, he says his brother has been in here for 4 days and he hasn't heard anything from him. Understandably, he is concerned.
And what did you say his name was again?
Equality.
She flips open a pad. I'd like both of you to make me an insight check.
It's gonna be fucking empty.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Okay.
buddy!
Oh, nice Arya.
Joy.
She,
I see through your shit.
for a fraction of a second, almost doesn't break her composure, but she grimaces.
Oh, good.
Oh boy.
They've killed this little boy.
And she
no.
says, perhaps we'd best talk about this in my office.
Oh, God.
All right, can't wait to. Oh no.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Maybe Cicera would leave.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
sounds
fine.
like a plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so the two of you go in, Tallithsyr stays with Leaf. She says, "Please have a seat."
I'm ready to go to this bullshit.
Right. Just to clarify, we are like fully armored. We have our weapons.
Yeah, like,
just in case-
you're- You get the feeling that this is why people are like reacting to you so strangely in a hospital.
Okay, that's fine though. I'd prefer that.
Yes.
Because yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, she like you sit down, like the chair that you sit on, Kelariis, can actually barely hold you and your weight in plate armor. It is a very cheap chair.
Maybe I'll stand instead.
Yeah.
I don't want to break a chair.
Dr. Marilla sees this and just she goes to say something and then just doesn't.
Very rude to remark on a lady's weight,
Wow.
even though it's all muscle.
Well, it's actually mostly
It's
plate
all
mail.
armor, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
mostly
Plate
plate
armor's
mail.
Fucking heavy. Plate armor's fucking heavy.
But yes, she sort of says, well, I don't usually do this, but
But I'm scared of you.
Right.
I'm afraid Equality is deceased.
And how exactly did that come to pass?
From my records, he came in with, well, from what I can tell, an unidentified illness. He was treated. The doctor in question believes that it may have been a particularly aggressive sickness of some sort, so they were given extensive treatment. As far as I can tell, I'm afraid that the patient was already in the advanced stages of the sickness, and he did not respond well to treatment.
That's very interesting because Leaf told us that his brother was not very sick at all when he arrived here. It seems odd that he would suddenly advance so quickly into the last stages of life.
She flicks through like a couple of pages that she has and sort of says, I'm afraid I don't know what else to tell you. These are the notes I have from the attending physician. Anything more than that is supposition on my part.
And why did nobody tell Leaf if he kept coming and asking?
Good question.
At this, she looks sort of... She looks, like, uncomfortable for a second, as if she's embarrassed to admit what it is that she's about to say. And she basically says, I'm afraid we get patients like this quite often. Or walk-ins off the street, that is. They generally don't have the funds to afford treatment or the means to or any benefactor to support them. We treat them as best they can, but it is difficult to keep track of them. Many of them do not have next of kin to contact. When Equality came in, he could give no next of kin, no parents. We are under fairly strict restrictions that we cannot divulge the information about our patients. It's part of running a successful hospital.
It also seems irresponsible that you'd let a child die, and then did not tell clearly his brother what had happened.
She looks hurt at that comment.
Well, she can be hurt because I am like super done with this lady's
Yeah.
bullshit.
She says,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but we did the best we could, and I will be honest with you. Many of the doctors here do not consider record keeping under such circumstances to be of such an important measure when there are others to take care of. It is unfortunate, but it is likely that equality simply slipped through the net.
Excuse me?
Disappeared through some lack of record keeping. I'm embarrassed to admit it does happen.
Do you have a supervisor we can talk to?
I am the head of
You
medicine.
just... I can't believe
Sorry,
you just
let me
went
just
to
apply my
your
middle-aged
manager?
white woman voice.
Yeah.
Did you just turn into a middle-aged white
I
woman?
did.
Yeah.
I'd like to talk to your manager.
Is your manager on duty right now?
Oh god.
She responds by placing a hand on her hip and basically saying, "I am the head of medicine."
Shithead of medicine. I don't say that in character, but that's me as Jayla being salty.
You're not wrong. Well, I cannot say how disappointed I am that we have to go out and tell this little boy that his brother is dead. But I suppose there's nothing to it at this point.
She narrows her eyes for a moment, and it's almost like she's resisting the urge to talk back to you.
Oh, do it! Do it! I want to see
She
this
says,
happen.
I am acutely familiar with how difficult that conversation can be, believe me. And I'm sorry that this burden has been passed to you. I wish there is more I could do.
Where's his body?
Please don't tell me that slipped through the cracks. Too. I imagine Arya like mumbles that under.
She flips the paper open again and says, if my notes are correct, he should be in the mortuary.
Well,
I can have you taken there if you wish.
We'll talk to him first and see.
I understand.
I look to Arya like, do you
yeah.
have anything else you want to rail into this lady about?
No, I'm good.
Because honestly, I'm here for it. But
I think we might be digging in the wrong places, unfortunately. I don't know if this lady knows anything else.
Yeah, at this point, by the way, like, she looks defeated.
Yeah. I'm beginning to get the sense that this is probably not all her fault.
no. I'm still pissed, but no, you're right. Well, time to deliver the bad news.
Oh god.
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
Hey, do you think Lyra's okay with being, like, pet for a bit after this?
Yes, Lyra will be fine with it. I will make Lyra be fine with it.
Lyra, please.
Poor Lyra.
Look, just give her some belly rubs. She'll be great.
I feel like you're the only one that can actually get away with doing that.
Yes, exactly.
Amazing.
So,
I guess we, walk out to... Yeah.
you're confronted by the expectant eyes of a child.
Oh god! Why do we do
Well,
this?
2 children, but...
Well,
Oh
Technically.
no! Yeah, that's even worse. In a way. Oh.
we should have had the conversation if we're gonna lie to him or not.
No, we have to tell him the truth. We can't lie to
God,
him.
this is gonna...
Otherwise, you'll be as bad as
Okay.
the doctor.
I
Yeah.
know!
Yeah.
He's a kid! That's true, I guess.
Leave.
sort of
Maybe we
looks
should
at you.
take him out of the hospital.
Oh. Well, not necessarily, because if we're taking him down, if we try to take him down and after, it might be...
That's true.
I mean, there's no point in delaying it. Just...
Oh god.
I am so sorry, but we were told that your brother passed away. They weren't able to do anything else for him.
He sort of
Sorry.
looks down at his feet and just sort of says, "Oh."
Oh, buddy, this is so awful.
I'm
Oh.
so sorry.
He doesn't cry.
Okay, that's. I
Okay.
mean, you could be in shock.
I like very gently place a hand on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Like kind of like comforting.
Yeah.
Yo.
He isn't crying, but he is shivering slightly.
Right, so he's probably in shock.
I want to hug him, but like I feel like that's too much for somebody that we literally don't know. So I'm just gonna put my hand on his shoulder and say,
If you're not going to do it, Tallithsyr is going to do it.
I mean, please, by all means.
Which she literally has a belief about that.
It's
know.
probably better to not be hugged by the person wearing plate armor. So.
Also that.
Wouldn't be the most comfortable.
Yeah, Tallithsyr sort of like hugs him.
Come into my steel arms, small child.
They are sturdy and strong. Let me comfort you.
I don't think it matters if she's wearing plate mail or not, because they're always made of steel.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh,
Damn.
he's not wrong.
Amazing.
So yeah, like Tallithsyr is sort of holding him, and he's just sort of like absent-mindedly like petting Lyra still.
The doctor said that if you want, you can see his body. I don't know how.
Why would you say that
I don't
to
know
a
if there's
child?
I know, but there's no other way to like more delicately put that. Kelariis isn't great with that. It's a very matter-of-fact thing to her, so.
He just sort of like he just sort of like shakes his head.
That's that's fair. That's fair, kid. I understand.
He seems to think for a moment and just sort of goes, "We should bury him with Mom and Dad."
Oh no.
Oh God, yeah, of course they're.
He's an orphan. Fuck me.
Do
I'm
you
sure
want...
that can be arranged.
Yeah, do you want one of us?
I will
to-
pay for this fucking poor lad.
Yeah, look, I will make this happen. We're committed. I assume that that's something like we'd have to get his brother's body and like take it to wherever
Yeah.
his parents
Yeah.
are. Yeah. Okay. I don't know the proper order of way to do this. Like, can I just be like, hey, we're taking this kid's body and we go and do that now, or is this something that has to be like arranged in terms of burying?
From what Dr. Marilis said to you, basically, like, if you go down there and make arrangements with the staff, they will presumably, like, fulfill those obligations to get rid of the body. But you'd have to go down to the mortuary and talk to them about it.
Yeah. I wonder if it's enough for us to go, or if we have to take him with us.
Again, you get the feeling that Dr. Marilla has, like, it is, despite the fact that, like, you're clearly not next of kin, she is kind of clearing it because she's just sort of like, look, it's bad enough what happened. If you want to deal with it, that's your prerogative.
Yeah, I guess we will go through the proper way of
Channels.
doing.
You kind of clubbed her into submission emotionally.
Well,
I'm
good, because she deserves it.
She's trying.
Is she?
She might be.
Probably, if she's reacting like that.
Anyway.
Yeah, she might be, but you know, other people might not be. Anyway,
She probably still has superiors who are butts.
She's the head of medicine, don't you
Anyway.
don't you know?
That doesn't make her the owner of the hospital.
Now is not the time. What?
I'm gonna have to leave.
Yeah,
here,
well,
so-
because I was going to say, if Kelariis wants to go and do that, somebody needs to stay with the other two.
I mean, I can.
That would make sense, seeing as you need to leave.
Bye.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to leave early, but
You're about to leave with Kelariis when you just get a look from Lyra that just says, "Please don't leave me."
God.
okay, I will stay.
So you're like,
Then
I'll
I
I'll
guess-
stay with these two, and then Kelariis can go and make arrangements.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Toodaloo.
GTFN.
bye.
Have fun
I'll-
at camp.
Thanks. I'll be sure to
Bye.
catch up later.
GTFN.
Bye.
Okay.
Also, can we take a small break?
Yes, I think that's the perfect time to cut away from this scene and take a break.
Guys,